Here he comes, the 0-2. And a swing and a miss. And Yoshi Yamamoto with his crown jewel as a Dodger. It is a complete game. He goes the distance. And the Dodgers win Game 2 by a score of 5-1.
From MLB.com, this is the Morning Lineup Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Monaghan. Today is Wednesday, October 15th. And if you thought Blake Snell going 8 innings on Monday night was incredible, you'd think what Yoshinobu Yamamoto did last night was incredibly incredible. Yamamoto did something no Dodger has done in the playoffs in 21 years to give LA a commanding 2-0 NLCS lead. We'll break that down and later get into a preview of ALCS Game 3 tonight. Let's get to it. Already down 1-0 in the NLCS, the Brewers needed to win Game 2 before they'd have to head to Los Angeles for the next 3 games of the series. Jackson Chourio, on the very first pitch in the bottom of the first inning, seemed to realize that.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto, his 3rd start of the postseason. And on the first pitch, Jackson Chourio sends one into deep right, and that one's going to fly out of here. Chourio with a home run to start it offensively for the Brewers.
1-0 Brewers. Chourio is now tied for the second most postseason home runs before turning 22 with 4. Juan Soto has the record with 5. But did you think the Dodgers were just going to roll over and pack their suitcases for Los Angeles? I mean, you probably didn't. It was actually quite the opposite of that.
3-2 to Hernandez. And a high fly ball into left field. That is way back there. And that is going to be a gone home run. We are tied. Hernandez, like Freeman yesterday, hits a towering fly ball home run out of here.
Teoscar Hernandez's 4th home run of the playoffs to tie the game at 1. Andy Paez doubled in a run later in the 2nd inning to make it 2-1. And then, well, it was Yama time. After that Chourio home run, Yoshinobu Yamamoto was brilliant. He gave up just 2 other hits and no other runs in a complete game gem. He struck out 7 and walked just 1 on 111 pitches. It's the first postseason complete game by a Dodger since Jose Lima time, way back in 2004. The first by any pitcher since Justin Verlander in 2017. And get this, Blake Snell and Yamamoto are the first 2 Dodger pitchers to log back-to-back 8+ inning starts in the postseason since Oral Hershiser and Tim Belcher way back in 1988. Freddie Peralta pitched well too, giving up just those 2 runs through 5. But then, in the 6th, manager Pat Murphy may have left him in 1 batter too long.
Another 3-2, Muncy into center field. Frelick turns and runs. That ball's deep. Frelick jumps, and it is up and out of here. Max Muncy. A home run to center field with 2 outs and 2 strikes. And it's 3-1 Dodgers.
Max Muncy's 14th career postseason home run, most all time by a Dodger. We have reached maximum Muncy. The Dodgers would add 2 more on Shohei Ohtani and Tommy Edman RBI singles and beat the Brewers soundly 5-1. Max Muncy spoke postgame about the Dodgers' elite starting pitching.
You know, we said before this postseason started, our starting pitching was going to be what carried us, and so far it's been exactly that. I mean, what is that now? It's 8 games we've played, 7 quality starts. That's pretty impressive, and if you're trying to build the recipe to win games, that would be where you would start.
Dave Roberts also raved of the weapons he has in his starting rotation.
I think if you look at the construction of our roster currently, you know, the strength is the starting pitching. And, you know, when you can have your most talented pitchers get the most outs, then you're in a good spot. And right now, you know, all 4 of those guys are in a really good headspace. Physically, they're sound. And, you know, you feel good about those guys starting a game and pushing them, and they're prepared for this.
Even though the odds are against him, Pat Murphy is not counting out his Brewers just yet.
The one thing is you guys might have us counted out. And I understand that. 90% of the teams that have been in this situation don't win the series. But this team has been counted out a lot this year, and I think there's some fight left in them, and it'll be a little tougher path, right, doing it on the road. But we swept the Dodgers early in the year on the road, so at least there's some capability. I know the Dodgers weren't the same team then, but 10 times this year we've won 4 in a row, so that's also a possibility.
Game 3 of the series will move to Los Angeles on Thursday, 6:08 p.m. Eastern on TBS. The Brewers will have to try and get their offense going against yet another Cy Young-esque starter, and what's looking like right now, Tyler Glasnow. Glasnow's pitched 7 2/3 innings this October, giving up 0 runs while striking out 10. And if he runs into any trouble, you still have that guy Shohei Ohtani who can come in. Milwaukee hasn't announced a starter yet, but Jose Quintana seems like a guy that could get some play in Game 3. He hasn't pitched since October 8th when he threw 3 scoreless innings, so he'd have plenty in the tank. The Brewers will need it all and more to have a fighting chance against the mighty Dodgers. Coming up, we have a Game 3 of the ALCS between the Mariners and Blue Jays. Will the Mariners go up a commanding 3-0? Will the Blue Jays win to get within 1 game? Will I stop talking so we can preview the game? Yes, stick around after the break. The Mariners looked like they would be in trouble entering Game 1 of the ALCS all the way in Toronto on Sunday night. They had just finished a back-and-forth 5-game series with the Tigers, knocking off Detroit with an exhausting 15-inning, 5-hour marathon on Friday night. But then they came into Rogers Center like a kraken preying on a lowly kayak. They won Game 1 3-1, and then Game 2 10-3. They're now headed back to T-Mobile Park in Seattle, where the crowd noise has registered on a seismometer. They play at 8:08 Eastern tonight on FS1. Mariners manager Dan Wilson is excited to get back home with a 2-0 lead.
We're super excited to get back home and keep playing baseball in front of, in T-Mobile Park, and we know what that atmosphere is going to be like. We're so excited to get out there. The fans really have been so tremendous. You can't thank them enough for the force that they have been at the ballpark and at home. So we're looking forward to getting back and feeling that energy again in the ballpark.
The Mariners will send George Kirby to the mound on regular rest. Kirby has started twice in this postseason, putting up a 2.70 ERA. The M's bats have also been on fire at the plate. Big hitters like Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez have been hitting. And of course, Jorge Polanco has earned the nickname George Bonds for his big-time, game-winning moments the last couple of contests. The Blue Jays, meanwhile, will send former Cy Young winner Shane Bieber to the mound. Bieber didn't look great in his last start against the Yankees in the DS, giving up 3 runs in 2 2/3 innings. But Toronto hopes he regains the success he had down the final stretch of the regular season. Their survival depends on it. The Jays also have to pick things up offensively. They've had a steep drop-off since the Yankees series. Vlad Jr. is 0 for 7, Alejandro Kirk is 1 for 7, and Dalton Varsho is also 0 for 7. Their Gold Glove defense has also been troubling in some big spots. Manager John Schneider talked about what he needs his team to do at the plate.
I want these guys to continue to feel like they're on the attack, you know what I mean? It's what we've done this entire season. So hopefully the luck turns and hopefully the slug shows up when we get there.
The Jays have a mountain to climb. 83.9% of teams down 2-0 in the history of a 7-game series have lost. The last team to come back and win after losing the first 2 games at home was almost 30 years ago, when the Yankees did it to the Braves in the 1996 World Series. The Mariners also had the best record at home since the All-Star break. But hey, that's why they play the games. That's all for today's morning lineup. Mandy Bell will be back with you tomorrow. Reminder, Blue Jays at Mariners Game 3 at 8:08 Eastern on FS1. You do not want to miss it. And as always, please don't forget to leave us a rating and a review, share this podcast with the baseball lovers in your life, and enjoy the game tonight.